Equations of circles. The equation of a circle can be written in the form x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals r squared, where the point hk is the center of the circle and r is the length of the radius. A circle is made up of an infinite number of points that are the same distance away from the circle's center. The xy in the equation of the circle represents the points on the circle. This formula is the same as the Pythagorean theorem. When a circle is centered at the origin, a point on the circle, xy, can be used to find the lengths of the legs of the right triangle, and the radius of the circle is the hypotenuse of the right triangle. So here in our picture, 4, 3 are the coordinates of the point. So 4 represents the x, and 3 represents the y. So 4 is the horizontal leg, 3 is the vertical leg, and then the radius is the 5. So 4 squared plus 3 squared equals 5 squared. And the 4 is the x, so that's x squared. The 3 is the y, which gives us y squared. And then 5 squared is 25. So the formula for the circle is x squared plus y squared equals 25, because the circle is centered at 0, 0, and the radius is 5 units long. When the circle is not centered at the origin, it can be thought of as a translation. The rules for function translations apply to equations of circles. A number added to the x means the circle has been translated to the left. A number subtracted from the x means the circle has been translated to the right. A number added to the y means the circle has been translated down, and a number subtracted from y means the circle has been translated up. So here on this picture of the blue circle, we have a circle that has the center coordinates of 2, -1. So the equation would be written, since it's been moved to the right 2, x minus 2 quantity squared plus, and since it's been moved down 1, y plus 1 quantity squared. And the radius is still 5. So this circle that's blue is a translation of the circle that we were working with before. Let's work through some examples. Now, keeping in mind that our equation is x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals r squared, and hk are the center points and r is the radius. So for number 1, write an equation of a circle that has a center located at 4, 2 and a radius 3 units long. So that means that h is going to be 4 and k is going to be 2. So we just have to, and r has to be 3. So we just need to fill in the equation. So we have x minus 4 plus y minus 2 equals 3 squared, or 9. And there's our equation of our circle. Let's look at the next one. Write an equation of a circle that has a center located at -1, -7, and a radius 2 units long. So h is -1, k is -7, and r is positive 2. So I'll write x minus -1 squared plus y minus -7 squared equals, I'll just go ahead and write 2 squared, because I'm going to rewrite this whole thing as x plus 1 squared, since it's minus a negative, plus y plus 7 squared equals 4. Alright, now let's take a look at the next one. Write an equation of a circle that has a center located at -3, 8 and a radius 4 units long. Alright, so that'll be x minus -3. So we know that minus a -3 is the same thing as a plus 3. And then plus y minus 8 squared equals, the radius is 4, so that would be 16. Alright, number 4 is a little different. This time I'm given the circle's diameter, the endpoints of the diameter. So with the diameter, I know that the midpoint of the diameter would be the center of the circle. So first I have to start off by finding the center. So I'm just going to use the midpoint formula. Remember, the midpoint formula is x sub 1 plus x sub 2 over 2, and then y sub 1 plus y sub 2 over 2. Alright, so if I plug that in, I have 4 plus negative 2 over 2, and 6 plus 8 over 2. So the center is, let's work this out, 4 plus negative 2 is positive 2, divided by 2 would give me a 1. And 6 plus 8 is 14, divided by 2 would give me 7. So here's the center. Now we need to find the equation, and we still need the radius. So I need to get a little bit more room here. Alright, now that I have some more space, I'll just go ahead and start off with my formula, just so I can keep track of what I need to find. Now I already have h and k, but I need r. So if I know the distance, or I need to find the distance basically from the center to a point on the circle. So to find distance, we've used the distance formula before, so we can use the distance formula again here. So that's d equals the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 quantity squared. Alright, so I'm going to find the distance between the center of my circle and a point on my circle. So I'm going to just pick one of these 2 points. I'll pick this one. It's 2 nice positive numbers. So it'll be 4 minus 1 squared plus 6 minus 7 quantity squared. Alright, so to find the distance, I'm taking 4 minus 1, which is 3, squared would give me 9, plus 6 minus 7 is negative 1, squared would be positive 1. So this would be the square root of 10. So the distance from the center of my circle to one of the points on my circle is the square root of 10. So the radius equals the square root of 10. So that means the radius squared would be positive 10, because the square root of 10 squared is 10. So now I have everything I need to write my equation. X minus 1 and y minus 7, and here I'll just put a 10. Alright, let's try another one of these. Write an equation of a circle that has a diameter with endpoints 1, 5, and negative 9, negative 7. Alright, so for this problem, just like the last one, the first thing we need to do is find the center. So I have to use the midpoint formula to find the center, the middle of the diameter. So that'll be x1 plus x2 over 2, and then y1 plus y2 over 2 as my midpoint formula. So I'm going to plug in 1 plus negative 9 divided by 2, and 5 plus negative 7 divided by 2. Alright, so 1 plus negative 9 would be negative 8. Negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. And 5 plus negative 7 would be negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. So I have my center. Alright, just to remind myself everything I need, I'll write out the equation. So x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals r squared. So the next thing I need, now that I have the center, hk, I need the radius. So the radius is going to be the distance from the center of the circle to one of the points on the circle. So I just need to pick a point and my center and use the distance formula. So since distance equals the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, I plug in everything I need. So that'll be, I'll just use this point, 1 minus negative 4 quantity squared plus 5 minus negative 1 quantity squared. So again, I'm using the distance formula with these 2 points that are circled in red to find the radius. Alright, so 1 minus negative 4 is negative positive 5, and 5 squared is 25. 1 minus negative 1 is positive 6. Positive 6 squared is 36. And 25 plus 36 give me the square root of 51. So the distance between the center and the radius, a center and a point on the circle, would be the radius, which is the square root of 51. So the radius squared is 51. So for my equation of my circle, I have x plus 4 squared plus y plus 1 squared equals 51. Alright, so now it's time to pause the video and complete the independent practice. Once you have completed the independent practice, then you can press play and check your answers. And here are the answers to the independent practice.